Hey YouTubers! A while ago, there was a big trend on Twitter promoting the idea of giving Elsa a girlfriend in Frozen sequel. A lot of people saw hashtag GiveElsaAGirlfriend and took to the stage to voice their opinions on whether or not Queen Elsa should be Disney's first homosexual character. Personally, when I first heard the question, should Elsa have a girlfriend in Frozen 2, my immediate response was a resounding no. I saw so many problems with the idea that I just brushed it off as a stupid notion from fans. But as I thought about each of the problems I had with the idea, I realized that those objections could be used as plot points for a potential sequel. So I'd like to go through each of these points and take a look at how Disney could spin this idea into a workable plot. Objection number 1, something I like to refer to as the absence equates fallacy. This is the notion that an apparent lack of interest in one thing automatically means you're interested in its opposite. In this particular case, it's the idea that Elsa must be a lesbian because we've never seen her have an interest in men. Now, if you are a late bloomer in the dating sphere, you've probably experienced this one firsthand and know that this argument is complete bullshit. While it may be true for a small percentage of people, to assume one type of attraction based on the absence of another type of attraction doesn't hold water when you consider the complexities of sexual interest or lack thereof. For Elsa in particular, this idea of absence equates makes even less sense. What do we know about Elsa as a person? She loves her family, likes chocolate, and can be badass when she's not living in perpetual fear of her powers. Not much to say when it comes to dating. Oh, other than...
You can't marry a man you just met.
But that's about all she has to say on the subject. And it's not all that surprising. People seem to forget that this is a person who has lived her whole life isolated from the outside world. There were no young boys or girls to befriend or have crushes on. Certainly no potential suitors or matches, as her parents seemed quite adamant to keep her away from her own sister, much less a person she'd have to marry.
But she won't remember I have powers?
It's for the best.
Oh yeah, did you forget that her parents called the shots up until their deaths when she was 18? Most other princesses in Disney married when they were younger than that, and the exceptions were either focused on work or kept locked in a tower. Not much different from her, really. Even after her parents died, she was so terrified of even touching someone that it's pretty obvious that things like marriage was kept off the table up until this point.
As heir, Elsa was preferable, of course, but no one was getting anywhere with her. But you...
Plot potential number 1. The first and foremost point is that, technically, we really have no idea what kind of person Elsa is when it comes to sexual attraction. Could be men, women, both, none, or some other section of the spectrum I'm not quite familiar with. So really, Disney could make Elsa a lesbian, and it wouldn't clash with any information we know about her as a person. In terms of absence equates, and her fears of persecution or hurting someone with her powers, those factors became null and void at the end of the first film. Arendelle's castle is no longer closed off. People are aware that she has powers, and have accepted her for who she is. From this point forward, she's bound to meet many more people, which means she'll likely come across someone she's attracted to in the process. All it takes is a matter of time.
I like the open gates.
We are never closing them again.
Objection number 2. It wouldn't fit with the era. I love how you all forget that this is 19th century Norway, and not the 21st century, where the main religions in Norway have only sort of been okay with homosexuality in the last 10 years. Let's be real, guys. If Elsa is a lesbian, she's going to be persecuted by the church. No, wait. Let's put this in a broader scope. She's a 19th century female ruler, has magical abilities, and wants to marry another woman? I would not be surprised if the church went so far as to arm neighboring countries to invade Arendelle and establish a new ruler. In that perspective, this whole scenario could be one giant disaster. Plot potential number 2. This giant disaster could be the big plot of the story. Could you imagine a film where a badass, ice-wielding sorceress queen battles against the church and several armies, and is the protagonist of the story? Could you imagine the battle scenes? We've already seen what she can do one-on-one. Now imagine the scale she'd use in fighting a war for love and freedom. The real question, though, is whether or not Disney has the balls to do this kind of movie. All I can say in the matter is they're either gonna have to go big or go home. Objection number 3. Royal duty as queen. When you are queen, your main duties are to govern and defend the nation to the utmost of your ability, and to produce heirs.
You have a duty, Your Grace. The king must have an heir.
This is a monarchy, folks. It's not so easy for a ruler to choose not to produce heirs, have legitimate heirs, or deal with infertility. This is a really big deal, as most of you are aware if you regularly tune into Game of Thrones. This is the kind of situation that could cause chaos, and it's the situation you're going to get if you give Queen Elsa a girlfriend. Plot potential number 3. Whether or not Disney gives Elsa a girlfriend, it seems only natural that advisors to the crown and church representatives would pressure Elsa to find a husband. It's very much a cross between Brave and Princess Diaries number 2, only more logical and less sleepovers. Elsa could have several issues that would make her feel conflicted about this. I'm sure she wants to be a good leader, but also doesn't want to feel rushed. We could also have scenes where she meets several bachelors, or visits different kingdoms to meet potential suitors. And if she falls for someone that isn't viewed as a good match, whether a man or a woman, she'd have a major conflict with the heart that always makes for an interesting movie. Which leads me to my last point. Objection number 4. Elsa would have to relinquish the crown to Anna. If Elsa refuses to produce an heir, the crown will go to Anna upon her death, unless a male relative tries to step in. The alternative may be that Elsa has to abdicate the throne straight away, like what King Edward VIII had to do when his intention to marry went against the church. Plot potential number 4. But let me ask you this. What if Anna doesn't ever want to be queen? What would happen in a situation where Elsa is forced to choose between love and the crown? Anna loves her sister and wants her to be happy. But would that love stretch so far as to willingly take a position that she'd hate to do? Would Kristoff be willing to make that sacrifice as well? This could be another level of conflict to add dimension to the story. Both sisters would be in positions where love, freedom, or duty would have to be sacrificed by the story's end. In conclusion, if Disney accepts the #GiveElsaAGirlfriend petition, they're going to have to address many historical, religious, and sociocultural factors in order for the story to work. At the same time, they will also have to appease LGBT audience members with several advisory panels and screen tests, much like what was required during the production of The Princess and the Frog. And all of these factors will have to be meshed together in order to be a workable plot and a successful sequel. Do I believe #GiveElsaAGirlfriend will work? No. The plot required for this to work isn't the kind of story Disney can take on. Can and should Disney create LGBT characters in lead roles? Absolutely. But I would recommend the setting be placed somewhere outside of a historical context of persecution. This would be a great opportunity for some modern or futuristic Disney films, or a chance to explore historical settings where homosexuality wasn't considered taboo. There are many avenues Disney can take to create a strong, badass LGBT character, just not with Elsa. That was my brain on the box for #GiveElsaAGirlfriend. What's your take on the subject? Feel free to add your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you never miss out on any future brainwaves. Till next time!